Hey guys, Surgeon here. Welcome to a new video. So, with the release of mobile coming out, there may be some of you who may be coming new to the game, or maybe you haven't played the game in a while, you don't have membership, and you may be asking yourself, how do I make money when I don't have membership? Well, lucky for you guys, I'm going to show you guys a few things that you can do to help yourself make some money. I'm going to go ahead and list the things that I'm doing in this video in the description, so if you don't want to watch the entire video, all the list is right there. If you want to see more detail in any of the things I'm going to talk about, obviously the timestamp will be next to the thing, so I don't want to hear anything about this video being too long. If you want to just skip to something, it'll be right there in the description for you guys. In the comment section, please, I want to know, those of you who are members and those of you who are new, what was the first thing you guys remember doing for money? For me, I personally remember running iron ore for somebody from Varrock East Bank to the Varrock East Mine, and that was how I made like my first 10K, and I got super happy because I was like 12. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. It's going to be all about how to make money in free-to-play, and hopefully some methods you haven't heard about, or methods that may seem more off the beaten path. So the first thing we're going to talk about is probably the easiest and the lowest requirement needed for this, and it's just filling jugs of water. So you can buy the jugs off of the Grain Exchange for 3 GP each, and when they're filled with water, they cost market price is 30 GP. If you want to sell them instantly, you're going to be looking at about 25 GP. So you're looking at about 22 GP profit jug that you fill. And if you watch, these things fill up pretty fast. I did this for about 5 minutes, and you'll see that the profit I make, I ended up having a total revenue of like 6K or so. So in 5 minutes, you made like 6K. You could probably do this about 12 times in an hour. So you're looking at like 60K an hour. And again, there's very minimal requirements for this. You're seeing that the place that you want to be doing this is in the Varrock East Bank. It's really simple. You just run into your bank, grab all the jugs that you need to fill your inventory, run over to the little fountain, use a jug on the fountain, and it starts filling it up automatically. Something to help you kind of speed this up is if you change the left click withdraw button to be withdraw all, then it makes it so you don't have to right click it all when you go to the bank. You can just left click on the jugs of water in your inventory and the jugs in the bank, which makes it a little bit faster. So yeah, first method, 60K an hour, free to play. I mean, you're never really going to have any contests with this, which is really nice about this method. You don't have to worry about trying to compete with anybody for space or competing for resources. So it makes this method pretty consistent. So if you're at peak hours or something, you're having trouble getting a spot in some of the other methods, this is always a good one to fall back on. So we're going to talk about another money-making method that doesn't require any stats, just like the jugs of water, but it does require a little bit more cash to start up, and that's tanning cow hides. It's probably the most classic one you're going to find on this list, but all it involves is you buying cow hides from the GE for about 140 to 145 GP each. And you take them to Alcarid, and in Alcarid, you can take them to this little shop next to the furnace. It's just north of the furnace, and you can right click on trade. You say that you want to tan these cow hides into soft leather, not hard leather, and it'll cost you 1 GP per hide. So if you buy 100 hides, you're also going to need 100 GP to tan them, but when you tan them, they turn into soft leather, and the soft leather at the point of making this video was around 180 to around 190 GP. So you're looking at a profit of around 30 to 40 GP per hide. And you'll see in the video I did this for about 5-6 minutes, and I ended up making a profit of around like 8K in only 5-6 minutes. So multiply that by 10 to be generous, because you're gonna run out of run energy and stuff. You can expect this to be around like, I don't know, 70 to 80K an hour. And the only difference between this and the jugs of water is that the jugs of water has very little startup cash required, but the Alcarid requires much more, but you can make about 10 to 20K more an hour. So this is kind of something that you would rather do the jugs of water to get some starter cash, and then once you have some starter cash, come to the cow hides and make that extra 10 to 20K an hour. Because over the course of time, you know, if you do one versus the other, if you do this versus jugs of water for 10 hours, you'd end up making around 100K to 200K more over the course of that time because of the difference in hours. Again, I'm being generous with these prices. If you are patient and you can afford to take longer to sell and take longer to buy your items, yeah, you can definitely make more money off of it. But being realistic here, I'm looking more so at this taking at trying to get these more like the insta buy rates and the insta sell rates, and you're looking at this being around 70 to 80k an hour, which is very good for free to play and requiring like no stats. Alright, so next is going to require a little bit more stats than before. It's going to require 15 wood cutting, and that is going to be chopping oak trees. Now, why is this good? Members use these to turn them into oak planks, and there just seems to never really be enough of these in the market, so there seems to always be a demand for these. Now, I have very high wood cutting level, so I try to handicap myself by using a steel axe to kind of give a little bit more realistic numbers in this video. But basically, there's 2 oak trees that are to the north of Lumbridge Castle, and I did this on a free-to-play world at about noon Central Time, which is about peak time on a Sunday. You're running to a bank, it's a little bit far. There's another spot just to the south of Draenor Bank, or just to the east of Draenor Bank. There's like 2 or 3 oak trees in that area, and that's a little bit closer to the bank, but I found that no one was in this area, so I wanted to abuse that a little bit. And I ended up, in about 5 minutes, I got about 54 logs or so, and at the current prices, that ended up being at about 5-ish K in that time. So, you know, 5K in 5 minutes, you multiply that by 12, you end up getting about 60k an hour, which is fair. And you know, with having a low requirement like 60 wood or 15 wood cutting with using like a steel axe, yeah, you're gonna get about that profit. Now, if you have higher wood cutting and you're using a higher axe, like you're using a mithril, an adamant, or a rune axe, you could expect the profits to be higher. Also, if you have no one in your world, that's gonna help a lot as well. Again, this spot I found that no one was there, which made it a little bit better. But again, tanning cowhides for the amount of skills required for it, that's just going to be a really difficult method to beat, considering it doesn't matter if people are there or not. You're still going to make that good money. So next is another money-making method that requires 15 in the skill, and this is going to be mining iron ore and requires 15 mining. Again, same thing like with the wood cutting. I do have a very high level on mining, but I'm handicapping myself by using a mithril pickaxe instead of using like a rune pickaxe where I would literally just get every single ore. So by using the mithril pickaxe, I am handicapping myself, and you'll even see that I do lose out on ore to people. Now for this, you can use like the Varrock East and the Varrock West mines, but that's generally a little bit more populated than the Alcarid mines. If you have a lower combat level, like lower than 29, you will need to use the Varrock mine so you don't get aggroed by these scorpions. However, if you do have a combat level of 29 or higher, then mining here won't be an issue because the scorpions will not aggro onto you. Now, there's 2 rocks right when you enter the Alcarid mine, and that's generally what I use. I was using that in this video, and I was able to, after about like 6 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes, I was able to get about 54 ore. Now, why is iron ore so profitable? Well, for members do use this item from time to time, and so do free-to-players. But there's no real high-end boss or real monster that drops iron ore in mass quantities, which kind of leaves the market or the supply of iron ore to be really left up to whoever harvests it. It's really the only place where this iron ore is coming from, so it's always kind of in demand. And the price of iron ore is 170 to about 180 GP, and with higher mining levels, you can obviously increase the amount that you're getting. You'll see at the end of this, I do pump out a pretty penny, and you can only imagine what it would have been like if I had like an adamant or rune pickaxe. This would be one of the money-making methods that I would highly recommend. If you can, upgrade your tool as quick as possible. Iron ore, for whatever reason, always seems to be that whatever tool you have, the faster you get this. The higher your tool, the faster you get it. With mithril pickaxes, it generally takes about 2 hits before you get the ore. With adamant, it takes about 1. With rune, as soon as you lift up your pick, you generally seem to get the ore. So as you get your mining level up, I would definitely recommend you get the highest level pick possible. And the nice thing about this as well is that it's right next to gold ore, and if you don't see anybody mining that, you can just hop over there and grab a couple gold ore yourself. Don't mind if I do, and snag that up and get some little extra GP. Mining iron is going to be pretty profitable, especially for a skill related money making method. This is one that can definitely get crowded, and if people have better tools than you or they have better reaction times than you, yes, they will beat you out. So this isn't going to be a reliable one, but if you're playing and there aren't a lot of people on, then by all means do this method because you can make a lot of money doing it. You saw that I had 4K in profit from one inventory. Well, I got two inventories in about 5 minutes. So it's about 8K per inventory, or 8K in 5 minutes. Multiply that by 12. You're looking at almost 100K an hour doing this, which is pretty bonkers considering this is free to play and you're making almost 100K an hour with 15 mining. Again, higher mining, you're going to get higher profits. So keep that in mind before you get all honky-dory about this money-making method. So the last method we're going to talk about is kind of an obscure method, and it definitely has the highest requirement, and you have to have Dragon Slayer completed. But it's buying anti-dragon shields and then selling them on the Grand Exchange. Now these you can buy for 26 GP each, and you can sell them on the GE for about 50 GP each, so you're looking at 24 GP profit per shield. Now it's very simple. You just start an engine, you run over to the OSRS shop, you buy a full inventory, and then you come back to the bank, deposit them, and then repeat the process. Very simple, very simple. I did this for about 6 minutes and I got a little over 200 shields, almost 250. And so that ended up bringing my profit per hour to be about 60-ish K. So obviously not the best. But the thing that I like about this method is that, well, one, it's very obscure. And keep in mind that the prices that I'm using right now are purely only pertain to this video. The prices of anti-dragon shields can fluctuate, and there are times where it can be very high. So I'm mentioning this method that if anti-dragon shields ever go up, this is a great money-making method because your margins just suddenly get higher and higher and higher, and it's a fairly easy way to do it. You will run out of run energy, and that's a given, especially with having like no agility or anything and no way to restore your run energy. You will run out of run energy, but that's fine. Just walk it out. And then once you have a full inventory, you're kind of done, you're out of money, just go over to the GE, put them in for about 50 GP each, or at least that's what I did at the moment, and then just wait for them to sell, and they will eventually sell. Very simple method, incredibly simple. It does require the completion of Dragon Slayer 2 in order to do this, but it's something that it doesn't matter how many other people are doing it. It doesn't affect your profits because the shop refills the shields very quickly, so it's very easy to get a full inventory whenever you go over there to shop. Oh, and if you didn't believe me that this stuff actually sells, here's my Grand Exchange history just to kind of prove my point. And there you have it. There is how I would make money in free-to-play if I were to start playing free-to-play today. A couple of obscure methods in there, but pretty low requirements overall to make some pretty decent money. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, remember to like it, subscribe if you want to see more content, and hit the bell so you're notified about it. Comment in the description, or comment down below and let me know what you think about it. Again, let me know what you used to do as a free-to-play player to actually make money back in the day. I'd like to see how things have changed over time. Links to all my socials will be in the description down below, alongside like my CC if you want some place to hang out, or Discord if you want some place to chat. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, mid-morning, second breakfast, whatever.